metacarpal bone. This is innervated by the deep branch of the radial nerve. If we now look a little bit further down, I'm going to hide this one. Now let's have a look deeper. I'm going to hide the muscle here, the brachioradialis. I'm going to hide extensor carpi radialis longus and extensor carpi radialis brevis. Now we can see here, this muscle is the extensor digiti minimi. Remember, as in Austin Powers, okay, this actually comes from the lateral upper condyle of the humerus and then inserts in the digital extensor expansion of the fifth digit. I'm going to go ahead and hide this one. And this muscle here is the Anconeus, okay? In addition to the triceps, where we know we have those three heads, the Anconeus actually can also help extend the forearm. It comes from the posterior surface of the lateral epicondyle of the humerus and inserts into the lateral surface of the olecranon and a little bit of the posterior surface of the superior part of the ulna. It's innervated by the radial nerve. I'm going to hide it. Now we have this muscle here. This is actually interesting. This is the supinator, okay? The supinator, well, its action is clear. It supinates, yeah. But the muscle that's actually the strongest supinator is going to be your biceps, okay? This here originates from the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, the supinator crest of the ulna, the supinator fossa of the ulna, and the radial collateral ligament and the annular ligament of the radius. It inserts on the anterior, lateral, and posterior surfaces of the proximal one-third of the radius, as you can see over here. It is innervated by the deep branch of the radial nerve. One interesting thing that I think we should be able to demonstrate here is the course of this nerve, okay? This nerve is going to be the deep branch of your radial nerve, and it pierces through the two heads of the supinator. We can see that on a couple of the donors in lab. Let's move a little bit further down here. Here we have APL, or Abductor Pollicis longus. Okay? APL comes from the posterior surface of the middle third of the radius, ulna, and the interosseous membrane, and it inserts on the base of the first metacarpal. Its action is abduction of the carpometacarpal joint of the thumb. It's innervated by the posterior interosseous nerve, which is basically just another term for a branch of the radial nerve. Then we have this here. Actually, let me do this one first. We have extensor Palmaris Brevis, and we have extensor Pollicis longus. Okay, extensor Palmaris Brevis comes basically from the posterior surface of the distal half of the radius and the interosseous membrane, and it inserts on the dorsal surface of the base of the proximal proximal phalangeal joint, or the proximal phalanx of the thumb. I'm going to hide that. Then you have here, oh, let me see, didn't hide it. Okay, then we have here Extensor Indices, yeah, this one and the digiti minimi, they have their own additional tendons. So also the index finger, yeah, can be extended by its own little muscle. Yeah, it's also innervated via the posterior interosseous nerve. It inserts into the dorsal expansion of the second digit. Good. We have this muscle here. This is the flexor carpi ulnaris. This is supplied by the ulnar nerve, specific branch to the flexor carpi ulnaris, actually. Okay, as you can imagine, we're going to the flexor compartment now. That means we'll have to rotate this and get a view from here. That is your FCU, the flexor carpi ulnaris. Okay, I'm going to hide it now. And now remember that you can put your fingers, or your fingers on your common flexor tendon origin, which is on the medial epicondyle of the humerus. Okay. And if we were to count now, this muscle here would be your, well, Palmaris longus. I'm going to hide it. Then we have, well, that's actually not the right one yet, the Flexor Carpi radialis, and the Pronator teres. And I've already hidden the Flexor Carpi ulnaris. Then deep to that, we have here the Flexor Digitorum Superficialis. Okay, we know that it flexes, well, a little bit it can flex the elbow as well, but most important is that it actually flex the metacarpophalangeal and the proximal interphalangeal joints of the index finger through the pinky finger. Okay, an important mnemonic device is the superficialis splits in two, as you can see here, and the profundus passes through. This can be innervated by the median nerve. Let me just go ahead and hide that now, and we'll go over to the profundus. Okay, the profundus will flex the distal IP joints of digits 2 through 5. Okay, and this is going to be innervated. The two most medial fingers, okay, the pinky and the ring finger, actually via branches from the anterior, actually from the ulnar nerve, because they're most closest to the ulnar side, and the two fingers that are closest to the thumb via branches of the median nerve. So it's kind of split, ulnar and median. Okay, I'm going to hide those. If I go up here, here's another muscle. This is the flexor pollicis longus. Okay, if there's a longus, there should be a brevis. We see the FPL, is also innervated by a branch from the median nerve, which is called the anterior interosseous nerve, and it flexes the thumb. Okay, I'm going to hide this. And then we have this muscle here. This is actually my favorite in the forearm, I would say, the Pronator Quadratus. Okay, the Pronator Quadratus clearly pronates. Okay, it is innervated via the anterior interosseous nerve, and the blood supply is via the anterior interosseous artery. Okay, an interesting feature is, if you look down here, you should be able to, at least in lab, you should be able to see that the anterior interosseous nerve is going to be a branch from the median nerve, and it'll actually run deep into the Pronator Quadratus, together with the anterior interosseous artery. Okay, remember that the anterior interosseous artery is a branch off of the common interosseous artery. If there's an anterior interosseous artery, there's going to be a posterior one too. And there is. It should actually be this one here. Okay? And the anterior interosseous and posterior interosseous artery have come from a common interosseous artery, which itself has come from the ulnar artery. Okay? Now we can have a look into the hand itself. I'm actually just going to go ahead and hide all the arterial layers because that's just going to be too confusing. Good. So starting on the dorsal side, we have these interosseous muscles. This is the first dorsal interosseous muscle. Okay, this is supplied by a deep branch of the ulnar nerve. This is an interosseous muscle. This is an interosseous muscle. This is the third dorsal interosseous muscle, and that is the fourth dorsal interosseous muscle. Okay, they're all going to be innervated via branches of the ulnar nerve. We have pad and dab. Yeah, dorsal abduct, AB duct. Pad, palmar, AD duct. Okay, some of our donors actually have this little muscle here, the Palmaris Brevis. Yeah, not all, but a few. If we have a look at the thenar compartment, one of the most high-yieldy things is the innervation of the thenar compartment via this recurrent branch off the median nerve. Okay, comes from the median nerve. Then we have this muscle, the Abductor Pollicis Brevis. Here is the Flexor Pollicis Brevis. I'm going to hide that, and this is the opponent's pollicis. Okay, abductor, flexor, opponents, all for one. Adductor, adductor, okay, is down here. Okay, it has two heads, a transverse and an oblique head. The transverse head and the oblique head have a different innervation though. Okay, these are innervated by the ulnar nerve, specifically a deep branch of the ulnar nerve. If we now go to the hypothenar side, you can see this is more like the ulnar side. Okay, here we have the abductor digiti minimi. This can be innervated by the deep branch of the ulnar nerve. Then we have here the flexor digiti minimi brevis of the hand is also innervated by the ulnar nerve. And then we have this little one here, the opponens digiti minimi, same innervation, ulnar nerve. Okay? And then we have some other muscles here. They look a little bit like earthworms, right? So they're lumbricals. We have the fourth, the third, the second, and the first. The first two lumbricals should be supplied by the common palmar digital branches of the median nerve. So this one and this one, because we're on the median nerve side. The second two should be innervated by branches of the ulnar nerve, because we're closer to the ulnar side. Okay? So I can hide this, and I'm going to hide the adductor pollicis. Good. And now we can see all the way down. We've already looked at the posterior interosseous muscles, and here are the anterior interosseous muscles. Okay? Here's the first palmar interosseous muscle. There's the second, and there's the third. They're all innervated by branches of the ulnar nerve. And remember the mnemonic: pad, dab, palmar, adduct, dorsal abduct, abduct. And last but not least, as this is just supposed to be a short review for the innervation, okay, your ulnar nerve comes down here. It'll innervate 1.5 fingers. If you see a nerve that goes down to the side of the finger, all the way down along here, once it is split and supplies one side of the finger, it would be a proper digital nerve. Before that, it would be a common palmar digital nerve. Okay? So up here, here it is, these are proper, okay? And before that, they would be common. The ulnar nerve does 1.5 fingers. The pinky finger and half of the ring finger. The median nerve does the rest. The carpal bones, let's have a look if I can do this. Okay, I'm going to hide all of the muscles and all of the nerves. Good. If we have a look at the carpal bones, scaphoid, lunate, triquetrum, pisiform sitting on top, trapezoid, capitate, hamate. I totally forgot this one, trapezium. Let's do that one more time. Scaphoid, lunate, triquetrum, pisiform, trapezium, trapezoid, capitate, and hamate. And note that the hamate actually has this hook, the hook of the hamate. Okay? It articulates with the triquetral, capitate, and lunate bone, and also with the 4th and 5th metacarpal bones, as you can see here, this one and this one. The scaphoid here is interesting, because if I flip this over, here's the scaphoid. If I add in some arteries, that's actually already enough. There's the scaphoid. If I add in some muscles, we can see that the scaphoid forms the floor of the anatomical snuff box, and running through it is the radial artery. And the boundaries of the snuff box are going to be the EPL, the EPB,